Hello and welcome to YouTube's for you. So in this video we will set up this style takedown functionality using motion warping feature in Unreal Engine 5, which is a dynamic way of adjust character root motion based on target. As you guys can see, my character properly align itself with opponent and perform the style takedown functionality. So let's get started, guys. So here's my default third-person project in Unreal Engine 5, and now I'm gonna go to my character blueprint. I'm gonna duplicate this and call this BP_AI. This will be our AI character. I'm gonna delete all the functionality in event graph and delete the camera component as well, and I'm gonna place this AI to my level. Now I'm gonna open my character blueprint. I'm gonna right click and create a new custom event. I'm gonna call this takedown from back. And I'm gonna search for sphere trace for objects. The start location will be my actor location. For the end location, I'm gonna get my actor rotation, grab the forward vector, multiply the forward vector with the trace length. I'm gonna set the length to 200 for now, and add this to my actor location. This will be my end location for sphere trace. For the radius, I'm gonna give the 90 for now, and for the object types, I'm gonna make array and pass spawn in the array. And for actors to ignore, I'm gonna make array and pass self reference to this. So this will be my sphere trace for objects. I'm gonna set the draw debug type to for duration now, and let's check the functionality. So first of all, we need to call this event. I'm gonna call this by pressing E keyboard key and call the event takedown from back. So now let's play and check. Here you guys can see the trace is working, and if it hits the AI, then the trace detects. Now I'm gonna go to my character blueprint. So first of all, now let's make a blueprint interface for our AI. I'm gonna go to blueprints, create a new blueprint interface. I'm gonna call this BPI_stealth takedown. In here, I'm gonna create a new function, call this on stealth takedown victim, and I'm gonna create two more events. One will be my on stealth takedown victim underscore end. This will be calls when our animation montage will be ends, and I'm gonna create a new one and call this on stealth takedown attacker ends. So these are three events three functions in our blueprint interfaces. Now I'm gonna save this and open my blueprint for my AI. Go to class settings, and in the interface tab I'm gonna add the interface over here, stealth takedown interface over here. So now let's close the blueprint interface tab. I'm gonna in my character blueprint. So if the sphere trace hits something, then I'm gonna place branch over here, break the hit result, and if the trace does hit something, we will call the stealth takedown on stealth takedown victim. Call this interface on stealth takedown victim, and over in our blueprint AI we will implement this stealth takedown victim interface event. So we will search for on stealth takedown event on stealth takedown victim. So when this calls, we will just print and call this victim calls. So if we hit play, set this to work for 1 frame and check, as you guys can see, if the trace hit the AI, then we will print victim calls. So now our blueprint interface functionality is completed. Now we will set the animation montage for our stealth takedowns. For this I have my stealth hand-to-hand stealth takedown animation. I'm gonna use the stealth sleeper choke for now. This will be the animation. I'm gonna right click on my animation and create animation montage. Open the montage, and over in my slots I have already the slot for my stealth takedown. You can add the slot according to your own need, and I'm gonna set the slot to our default slot group. I'm gonna set the slot name to my stealth takedown slot. Now if I open the stealth takedown attack animation, you guys can see I have my stealth takedown animation, and the most important, this stealth takedown slot is properly set up. Now I am gonna go to content browser and create a new animation montage for my victim. And one more thing, you need to enable root motion for all of the animations. I'm gonna set enable root motion, and now let's set up the attack animation for our victim. This will be our victim animation. I'm gonna right click and create animation montage. I'm gonna call this first one, call this attack 1, and second will be the victim 1. Now we will open our victim animation montage, and same, I'm gonna set the slot name to my stealth takedown slot, like so. So here we have our both stealth takedown attack and stealth takedown victim animation montages are set up with proper animation, with proper slots. And now I'm gonna go to my third person character. Here is our mesh. I'm gonna go to the animation blueprint for our character, open it up, and over in the animation blueprint, let's add a new slot for our animation montages. I'm gonna search for slot. This will be our default slot, and set the default slot to stealth takedown that we have created already. I'm gonna set the default slot to stealth takedown. Close the animation blueprint, and over in my character blueprint, let's disconnect the interface function for now. I'm gonna create a new custom event and call this execute stealth takedown, and on the execution pin I'm gonna get my mesh and play montage. Play Anim, play montage here. Select my montage, that will be my attack one, and call the function over here, that will be my execute stealth takedown. Now if I hit the, if the trace does hit the AI, you guys can see our character properly performed the stealth takedown montage. So now we will set up the remaining functionality, that will be the motion warping for this, and set up the AI to perform the victim animation. So now let's set up the motion warping functionality for our stealth takedowns. For motion warping, first you need to go to edit plugins and enable the motion warping. Motion warping plugin, that will be in experimental phase, and you need to enable the motion warping plugin and restart the editor. I have already enabled the motion warping plugin. Now I'm gonna go to my animation montage, and over in Notifies tab I'm gonna right click, add notify state. I'm gonna add the motion warping notify over here. I'm gonna set the notify to at the start, and when I scrub through the animation by pressing shift, and over here I'm gonna add this part. I'm gonna align the character to the proper location of our victim. So this part of animation montage will align our character to the victim location properly. So now let's click on motion warping component, go to details tab, and over in root motion modifier I'm gonna set this to skew warp, and drop down and set the warp target name to attack. Let's call this attack, and over in wrap point, so this will be warp translation will be true, and ignore z axis will be false, and warp rotation to true also. So these are the settings for our motion warping. First you need to set the warp target name and set the warp translation and rotation to true, and similarly, so instead of adding this to our victim, we just need this functionality for our own character. So now I'm going to go to my character blueprint, and over in components tab I'm going to add motion warping component over here. For the now I'm gonna go to my event graph, and before playing the montage we will grab our motion warping component and search for add update, add update warp target and location, warp target from location and rotation. So before playing the animation montage, we will provide the motion warping component to target location and target rotation. For the target location, I'm gonna promote this to variable and call this stealth takedown location. And for target rotation, I'm gonna promote this to variable target stealth takedown rotation. And the most important thing, you need to set up the warp target name to properly match the warp target name that you have provided in the animation montage. I'm gonna copy this and paste it over here. So now we have provided the warp location and warp rotation to our motion warping component before playing the animation montage. So now we need to calculate the warp stealth target location and stealth target rotation before executing this functionality. We need to calculate the stealth takedown location and stealth takedown rotation. For this, I'm gonna disconnect the execute stealth takedown from here, and we have our hit actor. I'm gonna get the actor location of our victim, get the actor location of victim, and get the actor rotation of victim. So let's now promote this to variable. For ease, this will be our hit actor. Disconnect the pins and connect it from here. These are our target location and rotation. So for setting up the target location, I'm gonna get the forward vector of my actor rotation, enemy actor rotation, get the forward vector, and get the right vector. Get the target actor location from our enemy location. I'm gonna subtract and split the struct pin. So the value will be for the forward vector, I'm gonna multiply the forward vector to the float. The value will be 65, and I'm gonna split the struct pin. For the X and Y, we will provide this, and for Z, I'm gonna set this to 90. So we have our actor location, enemy actor location. We will subtract the forward vector of enemy actor by 65 in X and Y axis, and in Z axis we will subtract the 90. And for our right vector, we will multiply the right vector by convert to float 20 units in Y and subtract this to our location. So this will be my stealth takedown location for my motion warp component. And for the rotation, I'm gonna simply set the rotation by getting the hit actor and get actor rotation. Set this to my stealth takedown rotation. So here we have set up our stealth takedown location and stealth takedown rotation variables. Now we will simply call the execute style takedown functionality and also call the on style takedown victim blueprint interface on our hit actor. So here is the functionality. So now if I'm gonna hit play, and now let's test the functionality. You can see if I perform the style takedown attack from here, my character properly aligned to actor victim rotation and location properly. But our victim is not performing any montage. So for this we will go to our blueprint AI, and first we need to get our capsule component of our AI and set the collision response to channel, collision response to our pawn to ignore, and after that grab the mesh component and play montage. And in our montage section we will provide the victim 1 montage. So now if I hit play, you can see the character is properly perform the style takedown attack. So first, for the smooth transition to our style takedown, we need to do some changings over here. So I'm gonna first grab my character movement component before executing or playing the montage. Grab the character movement component and stop movement immediately when we perform style takedown. First we will perform stop movement, and after that we will get our character component and set the movement mode to flying, like so, and get our camera boom and set the do collision test to false, so that our camera boom doesn't collide with the enemy AI and we can see the takedown properly. And after setting the do collision test to false, we will execute the remaining play montage functionality. So now if I hit play and perform style takedown, you can see this is our proper attack. So these are the values that we have used for properly align our character to enemy AI. For example, if I change the 20 to something like 50, you can see my character is not properly aligned to the character. So I have calculated these values by hit and try for this specific animation montage. You can find the or tweak the values according to your need. I'm gonna use the 20 and 65 for now. These give me proper result to align my character to the enemy location. So now we will set up the remaining functionality. So for the remaining functionality we will use the physics asset to simulate the physics on the victim AI and the attack montage. For this we have already created two functions in our blueprint interfaces: on style takedown victim end and on style takedown attacker end. So now I'm gonna go to my attack animation montage, and here you guys can see over here the attack montage ends. and I'm gonna over here right click, add notify, skeleton notify, and I have already created my stealth takedown attack and notify here. I'm gonna add the notify at this point. You can create your own notify and add the notify at this point. So over at this point I'm gonna call this stealth takedown and notify, and similarly in our victim, at the victim ending point at here, something like here, or let's check the time at this point, 3.9 second. Similarly at our victim I'm gonna set this to 3.9 second roughly, and call the notify stealth takedown victim ends. So here I have two new notify stealth takedown attack end and stealth takedown victim ends. So we are using the animation blueprint interfaces, which will we can use the events on our characters properly, instead of using casting to cast to blueprint AI or cast to character blueprint. We will use the character blueprint interfaces functions for this. I'm gonna go to settings to my character class and add the blueprint interface over here also, stealth takedown, and in my blueprint interface I'm gonna call the event on stealth takedown attack end. So this will calls when our stealth takedown attack ends, and when this functionality calls I'm gonna set the movement mode and the do collision test over here. Set the movement mode to walking and do collision test to true, like so. And the most important thing in my blueprint AI, go to mesh and search for physics asset, and here is our physics asset that is by default created. I'm gonna add the physics asset over here, physics asset override in the mesh details, and now I'm gonna go to my event graph and right click and search for event on stealth takedown victim ends. So on victim ends we will call the functionality. So first we will get our mesh component and set collision enabled to collision enabled query and physics also. And now after that we will use set all bodies below simulate physics. Set all bodies below simulate physics node over here. In bow name I'm gonna create a new make literal name and pass the to pelvis and set the new simulate to true. And after that grab our capsule component and set collision enabled to no collision. So when our on stealth takedown victim ends function calls, we will simulate the physics on our mesh and set the capsule component collision to no collision. So we need to call these events on somewhere. So we will use this stealth takedown animation montage events. So for this we will open our animation blueprint. So the AI and player character are using the same blueprint, animation blueprint. So that's why I'm gonna open the animation blueprint and go to my event graph and search for this stealth takedown victim ends and stealth takedown attack ends notifies. I'm gonna search for stealth takedown attack end and stealth takedown victim ends. So these two events fires when our animation montage reaches at this point for both attack and both victim. And when the on stealth takedown attack end calls, we will get owning actor of this animation blueprint and call the blueprint interface that will be our own stealth takedown attack ends and on stealth takedown victim ends. So blueprint interfaces are helpful for all of these tasks because we don't need to use casting or cast to player character or cast to blueprint AI nodes. We will simply use the blueprint interface events functions and execute our functionality. So the animation blueprint is same for both our characters, AI and player character, so that's why these two events will fire at the same time that we have set out here. So when our stealth takedown attack end fires, we will call the on stealth takedown attack end functional and similarly on stealth takedown victim end. And over in our owning actor that we have on our player case, we have our third person character. This function on stealth takedown attack and executes. And for the AI, the owning actor is our blueprint AI. That's why this function calls. So now compile and test the functionality. Here you guys can see this is proper stealth takedown and it's much more realistic. If I duplicate this over here, by motion warping you can see my character properly aligned to the opponent and perform the stealth takedown. So I hope you guys like this tutorial. Do subscribe my YouTube channel and also support me on Patreon. So I have uploaded all the project files of this project, and in this project I have added the multiple stealth takedown functionalities. You guys can see you can access all these project files to my Patreon page. I have set up all the 4 types of stealth takedown montages in this project. So do subscribe the YouTube channel and also you can support me on Patreon and gain access to all the project files and communicate me over there. Thank you guys and see you in the next one.